Hello everyone. I have another story from Poe. And here again it is some type of influence that is kind of a theme. And I'm not sure how long this is going to go on for, but these are realities and things that were created by the 12D Pleiadians. And we had a comment about people being feeling that the Pleiadians were not the cause for some of these things. They were, immediately considering that there were, some of the other beings like reptilians or Dracos or some other group, maybe the Greys. And so it's really hard for people to see the Pleiadians as doing anything wrong, but there's rogue groups in many different groups. There are quite a few of them that have these breakaway societies, and sometimes they rebel the system. And so in this case, they've done quite a bit of harm. And coordinating with the corporations, you see that a lot of different strange hybrids and things have come about because of it. And that's really not a minor problem, it's a major problem. So it's about time that we start looking at these things instead of being in a place of maybe, I won't say defensive mode, but shocked. We can't be shocked because we don't really know that some of those that say that they're good can be doing bad things, and some of those that are usually associated with being bad can do good things. And so you have to be willing to at least look at what's going on and have an open mind. So in this case, I know for sure that the 12D were involved in this story about the super soldier queens, and have had communication with Peter and the ACIO regarding this. But this story was channeled by Edgar Allan Poe. He provides more insight, and so this is a story that he has shared with me.
Super Soldier Queens. Caterpillar long and accordion colored green, 13 heads and 13 super soldier queens. The rabbit stares with spinning red eyes as the man masquerades in a female body disguise. "This is crazy," one said. "This can't be true." Why would a super soldier want to disguise what they do? Wouldn't it make more sense to appear as a man? Most humans would think that would intimidate more than a 20-year-old girl can. But it wasn't about stature or strength and in speed. This has more to do about pleasure and the way to succeed. Why not seduce an innocent bystander or those who hold the keys to truth? I tell you, many who were in power had been taken down by deceit and not truth. This is not ethical, and it is a lie. But how low should soldier programs get to manipulate a guy? We have tried to tell them a pot-bellied man resides within them, but they still fall for it again. What is the purpose of their plan? To force themselves on others, to break them down instead, to take blood and life force from them, to manipulate their head. They talk with full command and pull their manhood and their pride. They won't ever stop until the life force is gone and the brain is fried. Where is the honor? Where is the honorable deed? Is it not like defending the soil of a nation or a creed? We call them super soldier queens, but they are not so honorable men. These super soldier queens would rather lay in a brothel or in an opium den. I looked inside the eyes of a deep-set green. There was another creature like the caterpillar I had seen. The worms or snakes or slithering things had eyes like bats, but without the wings. They found them deep within a warlike desert storm, and they hid in the floor. Then they slithered up from the ground. They were awakened indeed. These creatures grew with remarkable speed, and in the size of a human form. They changed themselves into female girls. Yet the problem remained. Those disgusting parasites were too passive to storm the mighty warriors at night. So that's when they introduced the male soldier and more. This enhanced their fight and their need for power. They were unhinged in all delight at that very hour. I will let you think about it and imagine what type of creature that sprouted from this parasitic bug and this overaged thug. It makes a combination and powerful woman-hater and a soul-capturing creature that has no conscience left to destroy you. And so it is, a soldier without purpose, a nameless one who is only there to distort us. Here we have another troop, whom the Pleiadians created with the butterfly group. The MyLab factory keeps bringing more distortions to our world, and we are stuck trying to explain why these horrible beings continue to reign. I do not say this to discourage you. They will all have their day in the high court. This is not the time to hide from it, because there's so much they intend to distort. Is it reckless to mention it, or is it much more wise to know? It is all up to you, in the way that you should know. I asked if they really knew why the super soldier queens grew, and how they had such power to control and make the other soldiers feel weak and confused too. It is because they have more than one being. They are a mixed breed of caterpillar, hybrid male, and girl. This creates an intoxicating creature from below. But what is their intention, and what is it they will do? They don't seem to have any conscience, only take and take from all of you. The innocent players, the quiet participants, those who were locked in war games without any consent or permission. We try to pull ourselves out and no longer play the game. So they sent the super soldier queens to further confuse us with their games. One day we will all be free from astral wars and poisonous queens. We won't need to hold on to every word they say in order to figure out how we can step away. What you don't realize is, this is not a new game. The Anunnaki created this back when Sumerian kings did reign. It is now time to return back again. Remember your sovereignty, even when you sleep at night. It may seem you are in fantasy when you run mission with Soldier Dream Space Light. You must recover your truth and say each morning, I do not consent. Then ask to be released from all the implants in your head. Take back all vows and commitments. They do not own your soul. This is a time to lift yourself to freedom as you should own. Whatever you do, don't be discouraged. It has been a long, hard road for many. We can win this war together when we decide to stay in our truth completely. The dream space is for the dreamer, the journeyer in this space. The open astral was given to all the human race. There is a divine purpose, to sleep without a hitch, to not go into slumber, to find yourself caught in a wargame ditch. I also will say moreover, the manipulations too, the seductions and mind control to dictate what is attractive to you. The super soldier queens can take from your dreams, your fantasies too, and all that is alluring in view. They are deceptive and they will lie. They will make themselves look lovely, but it is only a disguise. Don't fall for the illusion. Hold on to your belt. Ask to not be too vulnerable, or they can take what you love into a dark cell. The warning is to inform you, not to get you too upset, but it is time for you to take your lives back and not let them provoke or threat. This is a difficult thing to break away, yet never impossible, I say. If you don't take back what's yours, your dream space and life will become their toys.
Okay, so I think I'm going to break down the story of the super soldier queens. I'm sure you're wondering, why in the world would you include caterpillar? And there was some kind of creature that looked like a very, very large caterpillar, obviously an off-world being. It was the size of a human, and it kind of brought all of the super soldier queens together in some ways. I don't know, maybe they were sort of used inside of this creature. You know, they kind of came into being. Maybe they were birthed in a way and hybridized somehow. But I saw the caterpillar as well, and the rabbit stares with spinning eyes. And some of this really reminds me of the conversation we had with Peter when the rabbit showed up, and there was a Rubik's Cube and some other things, but the Rubik's Cube's not mentioned here. The other part, I'll read it through. So caterpillar along an accordion colored green, 13 heads and 13 super soldier queens. The rabbit stares with spitting red eyes as the man masquerades in a female body disguise. So essentially what they're saying is, here is this super soldier queen that looks like a young girl, and it's essentially a male energy on the inside. Not actually a male body, but a male energy. And but hybridized with this other creature, this caterpillar creature. It goes on and tells a little bit more about the story, that, you know, how it's deceptive. It's, of course, it's not ethical, and it is a lie. Why are they using a super soldier to manipulate a guy? So why are they manipulating people? Why are they using a female presence to throw everyone off guard, to create some kind of deception, to have a deeper purpose? Typically, we consider the super soldiers as someone that's, you know, has a little bit of a purpose of defending, protecting, and even though, you know, it's manipulated and puppeted in many different ways. Sometimes they're researching, sometimes they're set in time travel, And it's a very, very controversial topic about what they do, how they get fractured, which is very controversial and extremely bad. So now you're looking at a female who's 20 years old, who's supposed to be over all of these other super soldiers, and how they're, kind of influencing everything. Yeah, it's an upsetting story. You look at it and you say, well, this isn't something that we're supposed to be paying attention to. It's not. These super soldier queens have done some serious harm. It was also told to me by Peter that one of them in particular had killed his wife. And so it's not anything that's very light, very, very serious when he's a super soldier, and yet he was pretty much unable to do anything to help her at that moment, and it literally sucked the soul out of the body. So these things are very, very dangerous and created in such a way, and so we ask that people disconnect from them, completely cut off. Whatever it is, whatever agenda it is, don't be seduced by them, don't get involved with them, don't trust whatever it is that they're about, because obviously they have these other things that they're doing. They're programmed, and they're there to handle, manipulate, and potentially could destroy someone's life because they're working in the astral. So his ending advice suggests that we are in control of our dream space. We're supposed to get in control of our dream space. We're supposed to get in control of our psychic ability, or what we're seeing, and not to accept everything that we see in our third eye, not to be very vulnerable. It's time for us to go to that next level of maturity and become more aware of the things around us. And if things come into your dream space that don't seem right, don't be hard on yourself and say, this is something that's in my conscience. This is something that I desire, I want. Recognize that things are planted into the astral right now. The battle is not just in the world and in what's going on around us in our time of being awake. The battle is going on very intensely in the astral. And when you're sleeping, you can be extremely vulnerable, and you can ask to be protected in that area. This is where people are typically taken out and brought into my labs. This is where they're taken out to be into the super soldier programs and removed, in the 20 and back programs, and so many other things. But this is also where people sell out things. I've talked to many people where they sign contracts, remember signing things, have to break those contracts if they remember it, agree to numerous things. Sometimes they find themselves getting deeply injured in the astral, and then later on it starts to manifest in the physical. So you are to be your own guardian in the space. You are to say no, in particular, because your consent is very, very powerful. And as long as you're on this planet, you have the power of free will. And if you don't utilize it, there's nothing more that anyone can say or help you. But, they can, in some sense, try to send a shield or protection to you until you understand and learn. But meanwhile, it's very important that you do not accept, do not consent to anything that you don't want. And just because it's in your dreams, contrary to what everyone's saying, that your dreams are a reflection of your desires and your hidden desires of certain things, it's not necessarily true. We are in an environment right now where they are trying to heavily manipulate humanity into being completely absent from what our natural way is, and that is in procreation. They're trying to get everyone to back away from procreating and having families and so forth. So there's a whole bunch of things going on, and also people who are wanting to have meaningful relationships will find that they're heavily attacked in the dream space by temptations and all sorts of other things. These are superimposed. A lot of them were not originally there. We have talked about the worms. The worms are these creatures that are also kind of a sexual predator type of energy. And so, the combination of all of this is essentially a bad combination and dangerous for anyone to be playing with or thinking lightly of it. And as I said, I encourage you to listen to this and consider some of the advice of Edgar Allan Poe here. Thank you for listening.